Hey, tonight we're stepping into the quiet ruins of Tokyo. Skyscrapers lean like broken teeth. Ivy spills from shattered windows, crawling through steel and glass like nature's slow revenge. You're standing there, not sure what year it is, just that everything you knew has vanished. No lights, no traffic, no voices. Just wind threading through hollow buildings, and the occasional clang of metal echoing like a distant warning or a watcher shifting nearby. So before we start, do me a favor. If you find yourself enjoying this journey, go ahead and like the video and subscribe, but only if this feels like your kind of thing. And hey, let me know where you're listening from. What time is it for you? Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft, sleepy hum, and let's ease into the night together. You wake up lying on the cracked tiles of what used to be a train station. The vending machines are tipped, glass shattered. Candy wrappers cling to the floor like autumn leaves that never blew away. You're wearing something thin, a hospital gown maybe. Your head's foggy. You don't remember getting here. But you do know one thing. Outside that rusted gate, the silence feels final. You step out into a Tokyo that's been emptied. No cars, no people, just rust, moss, and the faint flutter of birds startled by your presence. You glance up at the monorail, its tracks snapped, hanging like a broken rib in the sky. You survived something, but you're not sure what. First things first, shelter. Not just a place to sleep, but a space that feels defendable. You slip through narrow streets, past abandoned ramen shops, konbinis overgrown with ivy. No signs of struggle, no bodies, just absence, as if people vanished mid-step. Eventually, you find it, a capsule hotel. Glass cracked but standing. You climb the emergency stairs slowly, listening for sounds that aren't yours. Inside, it's moldy but solid. You pick a capsule in the middle, not too close to either end, somewhere hard to reach in a rush. You tear down a curtain, use the cloth to wipe away years of dust. This is home now. But one night won't be enough. You need a real base. And Tokyo, it's full of forgotten tools, if you know where to look. Rooftop gardens, old train yards, abandoned factories. You scout. The sun's already dipping, the cold setting in. No electricity means no heat. No fire means no safety. Before night fully falls, you find a few things. A rusted crowbar, bent pan, a box of matches. Most soggy, one still dry. You hold it like treasure. Small hope, warm in your hand. As the city darkens, the air grows sharper. You wedge a broken chair against your capsule door. It won't stop anything serious, but maybe it buys time. You lie in the dark, eyes open, listening. Not quite scared, more like your body remembers what it meant to be prey. You fall asleep, gripping the crowbar tight, and your final thought is simple. If you made it out alive, what else did? Morning arrives like a slow breath. The city doesn't wake because it never slept. It's just there, still and watchful. You open your eyes to dust floating in light. Soft golden beams slip through the cracked windows of your capsule. It's quiet, but not peaceful. More like paused. You stretch, feeling the ache in your shoulders, sore from sleeping half curled, one hand still gripping that crowbar. You didn't mean to, but something in your body didn't trust the dark. Still doesn't. There's no breakfast waiting, no faucet that runs. So instead, you chew a dry vitamin gum you found at the bottom of a locker. Not tasty, but it tricks your stomach into silence. Then the plan returns, like a whisper at the edge of your thoughts. Find water, build a base, stay alive. You climb down from the capsule, careful not to make noise. Not because there's danger, but because quiet feels sacred now. The stairwell creaks under your feet. A pigeon flaps away from the broken elevator shaft and makes your heart race. You step outside. The sky is pale, softly blue like a bruise healing. Tokyo stretches out in all directions, shattered but still standing. Some buildings have fallen, others lean on their neighbors like they're too tired to hold themselves up. Your boots crunch over broken glass and gravel as you walk. You pass a storefront with smashed mannequins frozen mid-pose, a pharmacy half-looted, a bakery that still smells faintly of yeast and ash. And then, a sound. Water. You follow it down a narrow alley, past a rusted bicycle and a vending machine sunk halfway into the earth. It's coming from a rooftop. You climb the fire escape, slow, breath held, and there it is. A rooftop garden, overgrown, wild, but alive. Rainwater has pooled in an old bathtub, cloudy but not foul. Plants, mostly weeds now, have rooted deep. Some herbs, maybe a struggling tomato vine. You lean over the edge of the tub, careful not to spill. You cup your hands and bring the water to your lips. It tastes like metal and sky. Not perfect, but you've had worse. You rinse your face. It feels like touching the past. You decide to stay here a while. The rooftop has sun, shelter, and space. It's high, defensible, and most importantly, no one else seems to have claimed it. You sit on an overturned crate and watch the horizon. Far off, smoke rises. Not much, not fast. Could be fire, could be signal, could be something else. You note it on a scrap of cardboard with a charcoal pencil. Plume, west, approx. 10 kilometers. You're making maps now, keeping records, because even if this world is empty, you're not. You stay until the shadows grow long, then you return to your capsule hotel with a plan. Tomorrow you'll bring tools, reinforce the rooftop with tarps, set traps for rain. Maybe even start a garden of your own. You don't know who you are anymore. But this feels like a beginning. And tonight, when you sleep, the crowbar stays at your side. But this time, you let go of it first. It doesn't hit you until your lips start to crack, until the back of your throat feels like dust, until your vision gets just a little hazy around the edges. You're dehydrated. It sneaks up on you slowly, You're not sweating, it's not hot, but your body knows. You haven't had clean water since. When? That sip from the rooftop bathtub? That wasn't enough. Not by a long shot. You sit on a crumbled stairwell outside the hotel, staring at your hands. Your fingertips are lined with dirt, your nails chipped. Your palms look older than they should. There's a quiet panic crawling in your chest, not the kind that screams, not the kind that runs, the kind that presses, like a cold hand on your ribs, reminding you water is not optional. You close your eyes, breathe in, count to 4, exhale, count to 4, repeat. You need to think. Rain is rare this season. There's no plumbing, no working taps. The city's pipes have long gone dry or, worse, are filled with stagnant rot. You need to make your own system. You climb again to the rooftop garden, the place from yesterday. This time, you carry supplies. A plastic sheet, scavenged from a broken billboard, a coil of wire pulled from an abandoned vending machine, an empty paint can rinsed with precious drops of bathtub water. You rig up a basic rain catcher. Not fancy, but clever. You angle the sheet downward, so any rain that falls will slide straight into the can. You anchor the corners with bricks. Then you look up at the sky, and it's so perfectly blue it almost hurts. No clouds, no rain, not yet. But it will come. It has to. You believe in that. While you wait, you explore. The building next door was once a gym. You crawl through the shattered glass doors. The mats are curled and dried out. Treadmills silent. A locker room in the back smells like mildew and forgotten body spray. And there, near the corner, a water cooler. You cross the room like it might vanish. The jug is cracked, empty, but below it, the tray. It's a long shot. You tilt the whole unit, slow, steady. A single drop rolls down, then another. You press your finger to the lip of the dispenser and taste. Clean. Cold. You search the locker room and find a half-crushed sports bottle. You rinse it, then place it under the cooler. 2 hours later, you've collected a mouthful. Not much, but when you sip it, it feels like gold. You sit in the gym for a while, watching the light shift on the floor. There's graffiti on the wall, someone's name, probably. A reminder that you're not the first to pass through here. Maybe not the last, either. You look at your bottle, still a little left. You don't drink it all. You save it. Because now, water is sacred. You head back to the hotel at sunset. The air has a different smell now. Cooler. Hints of ozone. You look up. Clouds. Thin. Feathery. But real. Your rain catcher waits on the roof like a hopeful hand held out to the sky. You check the seal around the paint can, adjust the angle, whisper a wish. Tonight might be the night. Back in the capsule, you lie down slowly. The silence feels fuller somehow, not as empty. You close your eyes, and in the space between sleep and waking, you hear it. Drip, drip, drip. Your heart doesn't race. It just exhales. Because tomorrow, there might be water. The first time you try to make fire, it humbles you. Movies make it look easy. 2 sticks, some dry grass, a little determination. Boom, flames. But in real life, all you get is sweat and blisters. You sit on the rooftop with your back against a cracked air conditioning unit. Beside you is a pile of things that could be useful. A few sticks scavenged from a broken broom, a shoelace, a piece of tile worn smooth, dry leaves and paper scraps. You've watched enough survival shows to remember the basics, but remembering and doing are two very different things. Your hands tremble a little as you rig up your first bow drill, stick as spindle, tile as base, shoelace tied to a curved piece of pipe for the bow. It looks terrible, but it's a start. You brace your foot on the tile, wrap the string around the spindle, and begin. The spindle spins, the bow squeaks, the dust forms, but no spark, no ember, just smoke and disappointment. You wipe your forehead with your sleeve, try again, and again. By the fifth try, your shoulders ache, your palms sting, the sun is dipping lower, and the breeze is growing colder. You close your eyes, let yourself sit still. You're not panicking, not anymore, but something in your bones whispers, "Fire is life." You get up, shake out your arms, rewrap the shoelace. This time, you take it slow, smooth, steady pressure. Not fast, just steady. Smoke rises, a little curl, then more, then a glow. You blink at it, almost afraid to breathe. It's tiny, fragile. You feed it gently, dry leaves, tissue paper, a piece of string. The ember catches, glows orange, and then flame. Real. Warm. Alive. You sit back, stunned. Laugh a little. Just a puff of air from your chest. No one sees, no one claps, but you feel like a magician, a god with a spark in their hand. You move carefully, setting the tiny fire inside a rusted soup can. Use rocks to surround it, shield it from wind. The warmth touches your fingers first, then your face, then your heart. You haven't felt heat like this in days. You boil a bit of that rooftop water, just enough to purify. The steam curls up like a prayer. Later, you huddle beside your soup can flame, hands cupped close, eyes half closed. You think of every ancestor who ever sat like this in caves or forests or rooftops just like yours, cold, hungry, tired, but holding fire. It connects you, not to anyone alive, but to something deeper, older. You feed the fire slowly, learn its rhythm, its mood. Too much wood chokes it. Too little, it dies. You whisper to it without meaning to, "Stay with me." And it does. Long into the night, it stays. The rooftop fades into darkness, but your fire keeps breathing. And for the first time since the world went silent, you sleep warm.
You never thought you'd have to kill something to eat. Not really. Even camping trips had protein bars. Even bad days meant delivery. But this world, it demands things. And today, it demands a choice. You wake to the sound of rustling. Not wind, not rain. Something light, quick, alive. You freeze in your capsule, barely breathe, then peek out through the torn curtain you hung for privacy. There, on the edge of the rooftop garden, a rabbit. Small, pale, nose twitching, one ear torn. You don't move. Not yet. You just watch. It nibbles a vine, sniffs a flower, pauses. You feel your heartbeat in your fingers, in your throat. You're hungry, truly hungry now. The kind of hunger that scrapes behind your ribs and makes your thoughts foggy. You grab your makeshift knife, a shard of metal bound to a broken toothbrush handle with shoelace. Not elegant, but sharp. You crouch low. The rabbit moves again. You move with it. Slow, low, quiet. Every step feels like thunder. You almost trip on loose gravel. The rabbit perks up, freezes. So do you. It goes back to eating, and you take one more step. Closer, closer. Your muscles tighten, your breath catches, and you lunge. The rabbit bolts. You miss by inches. You sit in the dirt, panting, frustrated, ashamed, relieved. You don't know what you're feeling. You didn't get it, but part of you is glad? Another part, the part with the growling stomach, disagrees. You try again later, this time with a trap. You build a simple snare using headphone wires and a bent spoon. It takes you most of the day. You watch from a distance, wait, wait, and eventually a tug, a flinch, a cry. You rush over. It's there, alive, afraid. You look into its eyes, and it looks into yours. You hesitate. Then you don't. You do what you have to do. Quick. As clean as you can. You don't feel like a hero or a monster, just a person trying not to starve. You skin it with shaking hands. You've never done this before. There's more blood than you expected. The fire won't light tonight. It's too damp. The air is heavy. The leaves you gathered won't catch. So instead, you clean the meat as best you can. Wrap it in plastic and snow. Bury it under a layer of ash in a metal box. A makeshift fridge. You whisper, "Thank you," before you close the lid. You sit under the gray sky, hands stained, heart quiet. You're not proud. You're not broken. Just changed. In a world like this, every choice is a step away from who you were and toward who you're becoming. You sleep without dinner, but you sleep knowing tomorrow you'll eat.
There was a time when you stood in line here, maybe for cup noodles, maybe for toothpaste, maybe just to avoid the rain. Back then, the worst part of the supermarket was the music, or the awkward cashier smile. Now it feels like entering a tomb. The sliding doors are stuck, half open, glass webbed with cracks, moss creeping in through the corners. You squeeze through sideways. It groans. Inside, silence and rot. You hold your breath without meaning to. The air smells like dust, plastic, and something sour. Familiar, but wrong. You stepped carefully. Each footfall sends echoes down the abandoned aisles. Shelves are toppled, packages torn open, cans rolled into corners and left there to rust. A puddle of something unidentifiable glistens beneath a flickering exit sign. You step over it. This place was looted long ago, but not thoroughly. You find a crushed cereal box, empty, an old magazine cover featuring a smiling actress you no longer recognize, A pack of gum melted into its wrapper. Then something useful. A can of peaches. Dented but sealed. You shake it near your ear. Still sloshes, still good. You smile for the first time today. Then the sound comes. Metal dragging against tile. Sharp, brief. You freeze. Hold your breath. You're not alone. You duck behind the shelf. Wait. Listen. Nothing. You peek around the edge. Nothing. Maybe a rat. Maybe wind. But now your heartbeat won't slow down. You grip your makeshift knife tighter. Stay low. You keep moving aisle by aisle. Near the back, you find what looks like a staff room. Door propped open with a broom. Inside, lockers, tipped chairs, a coffee pot fossilized with time. There's a vending machine in the corner, still upright. The glass is cracked, but behind it are a few drinks. You smash it with a fire extinguisher from the wall. Noise explodes, bouncing off metal and glass. You freeze again. Wait. Listen. Still nothing. You grab the cans. 2 green teas, 1 coffee, 1 lemon soda. Warm, yes. Sugary, yes. Safe? Hopefully. You stash them in your bag, careful not to let them clink. Noise is danger now. Then you spot something odd on the floor near the freezer section. A trap. Old. Rusty, but still set. Whoever placed it didn't come back for it. You disarm it. Tuck it under your arm. Could be useful. You find a length of chain, a half roll of plastic wrap, a bottle of vinegar. Strange shopping list, but this is your world now. As you leave, you glance at the checkout counters. One still has a basket on it. Inside, 3 instant meals, a bar of soap, a child's toy. Someone was here. Someone planned to pay, but they didn't make it. You don't take the toy. You just nod to it, a kind of silent respect. Back outside, the light feels sharp, like the world has moved on without you. But your pack is heavier, and your steps just a little steadier. You survived the market, and tomorrow you'll eat more than hope.
You never realized how naked your hands felt until you needed a weapon. There's something ancient about it, that instinct to hold something sharp, to grip a tool not for building, but for keeping the world at bay. You sit cross-legged on the rooftop again, a blanket of soot and dust beneath you. The city hums in the distance, quiet as a dying fire. In front of you lies a small pile of scrap, a shard of thick glass from an old office window, a strip of cloth torn from a uniform, 2 rubber bands, 1 chipped corner of a ceramic tile, and a single smooth river stone found lodged in a rooftop gutter. Not much, but enough. You pick up the glass carefully. It catches the light, greenish, smudged, slightly curved, like it once belonged to something expensive. Now it belongs to you. You wrap one end with the cloth, tight and layered. Test the grip. Too loose. You adjust. Add rubber bands. Wrap it again. Reinforce the base with a snapped chopstick. It feels better. Still fragile, still dangerous, but better. Now comes the hard part, shaping the edge. You brace the shard against the ceramic tile and begin to scrape. The sound grates, a dry scream of friction and purpose. You keep going. Minutes blur into hours. The rooftop sun bakes your shoulders. Your hands ache. You stop. Stretch. Drink a sip of warm tea. Start again. Scrape. 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 The stone smooths the edges. The tile shapes the point. Your hands turn red, but so does the blade. By sunset, you hold something new. Not pretty, not clean, but yours. A glass knife, sharp enough to cut, strong enough to matter. You test it on rope. It slices. Clumsy, but real. And suddenly you feel different, less helpless, more like someone who belongs here now, someone who knows how to survive this version of the world. You tuck it into your belt, careful not to lean too hard. It's not perfect. It never will be. But it's yours. And tonight when you lie down in your capsule, the knife rests beside your crowbar. Two tools, two symbols, of fear and of choice. Outside, the wind howls between towers. Something metal clangs far below. You pull the blanket tighter and whisper, "Let it come. You have a knife now."
Night in the city used to mean neon, flashing signs, traffic hum, the soft, endless glow that made even 3 a.m. feel like early evening. Now, night means black. Not just darkness, but an absence, an erasure. You sit in your capsule, legs pulled up, back pressed against the far wall, blanket wrapped tight, knife beside you, crowbar within reach. There's no lock on the capsule door, just a bent chair wedged under the handle, and your hope that it makes noise before anything gets in. You've checked the perimeter 4 times. No footprints, no dragging marks, no signs of animals. Still, every sound feels louder at night. The wind in the stairwell, a rattle of something shifting above. Your own breath, suddenly suspicious. You shut your eyes, then open them again. It's not fear exactly, it's awareness. A sense that your safety depends on not fully letting go. You shift your weight, try to get comfortable. The floor beneath the capsule creaks. Your fingers curl around the knife hilt. But it's nothing, just your own weight settling. You breathe out slowly. Try again. Sleep comes in layers. You drift, but never dive. Your ears stay on, like sentries at their post. In one dream, you're back in your apartment. Everything works. The fridge hums, there's toast. A cat you don't remember having curls at your feet. You wake suddenly. No fridge, no toast, no cat. Just the soft blue pre-dawn spilling through the cracked window. Your back aches. Your blanket is tangled. But you're alive. You survived the night. And now, you understand something. Real sleep doesn't exist out here. Only something that mimics it. A shallow rest. A borrowed calm. But even that is precious. You rise slowly, stretch, crack your neck, glance outside. No movement, no strangers, just silence. You boil a little water, drink it warm and plain. It feels like victory. You mark a tally on the capsule wall with a nail. 1 night. You'll keep count. Because the longer you stay alive, the more it matters that you remember how many times you've made it through. And tonight, you'll sleep again. Not well, not fully, but just enough to try again tomorrow. You wake up with dirt on your cheek and a dream still clinging to your eyelids. Something about a subway ride, your phone glowing in your hand, a voice overhead calling the next stop. But now there's no voice, no station, just the sun rising over a hollow city. You sit up, stretch, crack your back, which protests like you're twice your age. Time to move. You've stayed in the capsule hotel long enough. It's a shelter, yes, but not a home, not a plan. And you need a plan. So, after a cup of warm rainwater and a bite of canned beans, you begin to walk. Not aimlessly, you start tracking. Every left turn, every right, every alley that dead ends. You whisper directions aloud just so you won't forget. 2 blocks past the vending machine. Right at the red vending shell. Left where the manhole is missing its lid. You pass buildings that feel familiar, but only because you've seen them from a different angle. A broken cafe window reflects your shape. You barely recognize yourself. After an hour, you find a crumpled piece of cardboard beneath a rusted bike rack, still dry. You grab a chunk of charcoal from a burnt magazine stand and start sketching. No compass, no scale, just memory and need. Your lines are crooked, your handwriting's worse, but soon there's a path. Hotel, to garden, to gym, to market, to rooftop. You draw a crude circle where you saw smoke 2 days ago. Add a question mark. You mark spots with water, with shade, with salvage. You call this place core, your center. Everything else orbits around it. You tape the map inside your capsule wall with melted plastic and hope. And now, every time you leave, you carry a second copy, folded, tucked into your coat lining, because in a city where all signs have faded, you have to become your own cartographer. You keep adding to it. A school with broken desks, a pharmacy full of rat nests, a tunnel flooded at both ends, a staircase that leads to nowhere, but makes a good lookout point. Every step becomes a reference point. Every failure, a landmark. You even name things now. Tower of bent steel, Glass Creek, the long walk, red bus graveyard. It makes you laugh, just a little. You're building a world again, one corner at a time. And even though no one may ever read this map but you, it gives you something priceless. A sense of place, a sense of progress, a sense of choice. That night, you fall asleep tracing your finger across the lines you drew. From here to there, and back again. Because tomorrow, you'll go farther, and the map will grow with you. You don't notice it at first. There's always something to do. Find food, boil water, sharpen a tool, fix a tarp. But eventually, between tasks, comes the stillness. And in the stillness, you hear it. Not a sound, but the lack of one. No voices, no laughter from another floor, no footsteps echoing in a hallway. Just your own breath, just your own heart. You try to distract yourself. You talk aloud while mapping. Narrate what you're doing as if explaining to someone beside you. Okay, so we'll try left today. Looks like the building's leaning, but maybe it's safe. No one answers, but it helps. For a while. Then comes the moment when you realize you haven't spoken in 3 days. Not a word, not a sound. Your throat feels tight, your jaw stiff. Your own voice, when you finally whisper something, startles you. You shout, "Hello!" into the open sky from a rooftop. It echoes back, twice, and then nothing. You wonder how long it would take for your mind to fold in on itself. So you get clever. You find an old toy recorder in a child's backpack, dusty but intact. You clean the buttons, plug in batteries from an old remote. It lights up. You record yourself saying, "Hey, if you're hearing this, I'm alive. Still here. You?" Then you play it back. The voice is yours, but distant, almost alien. You cry. Just a little. More from surprise than sadness. That night, you prop the recorder on the nightstand, let it loop softly as you fall asleep, pretending, just for a moment, that someone else is in the room with you. Later, you find an old mirror cracked down the center. You carry it to your rooftop, sit and talk to it. You tell it about your day, about the rabbit, about the fire, about the time you almost stepped in a trap. You tell it everything because it's easier than saying nothing at all. And you start to understand loneliness isn't just being alone. It's being unseen, unheard, unremembered. The hunger is manageable, the cold survivable. But this quiet, it presses on the soul. So you begin rituals. You light the fire at the same time each evening. You whisper your own name each morning. You write short letters to no one, fold them up and tuck them under bricks. You are leaving behind pieces of yourself, like breadcrumbs through a forest no one may ever walk again. And yet, you do it anyway, because part of surviving is insisting, I am still here, and I matter, even if no one answers. You almost left it behind. It sat beneath a pile of frayed wires in the corner of an abandoned electronics shop. Dusty, cracked. Its antenna bent like a broken limb. But something about it, maybe the weight, maybe the shape in your hand, felt like it still had a heartbeat. You carried it back to your rooftop, tucked between 2 cans of green tea and a broken solar light. That night, while the fire flickered low, you sat cross-legged with the radio in your lap, turned the knob. Nothing. Turned it again. Still nothing. You shook it gently. No rattle. Good sign? You opened the back. 2 AA slots. Corroded, but salvageable. You pulled batteries from your LED headlamp, brushed away rust with a bit of cloth, slid them in, clicked the switch. Silence. And then a hum. Not loud, not clear, but there. A quiet, crackling hum like breath through gravel. You adjust the dial slowly. The static rises and falls, like waves lapping some forgotten shore. Then, a pop, a flicker of tone. You lean in, closer. Your heart thuds in your throat, and suddenly, "Can anyone hear this?" You freeze. Not a recording, not a dream. A voice. Real, tinny, distorted, but human. "Repeat, if you're receiving this. This is station Delta 9, broadcasting on loop from Sector E, grid 44-72. If you're out there, you're not alone." You sit in the glow of the fire, mouth open, breath shallow. The radio crackles again, static, then silence, then the same message, on loop. But that's enough. You rewind it in your mind again and again. You're not alone. You whisper it with the next broadcast. This isn't hope, not yet, but it's something like gravity, pulling you toward a new thought. Maybe someone else made it, maybe more than you. You pull the map from your coat, lay it flat, circle a rough guess at grid 44-72. It's far, days, maybe more, no roads you can trust, no guarantee the broadcast is even live, but still, you mark it. Fold the map carefully, place it back in your lining. Later that night, you tuck the radio close beside you. It hums softly, a new kind of lullaby. You fall asleep to the loop, and for the first time since the silence began, you dream of voices not your own.
The capsule hotel kept you alive, but it was never meant to keep you sane. Thin walls, thin blankets, a ceiling too low to stand beneath. It was survival, not sanctuary. Now that the radio speaks, now that you know there might be others out there, you feel something shift. It's time to build, not just hide, not just wait. Build. You scout the neighborhood first, not far, just a few blocks out, circling wider each day like ripples in a pond. You mark buildings on your map, one with intact windows, one with a wide rooftop, one with broken doors, but good bones. The best one is a supply store, or what's left of it. The sign has fallen, the glass is gone, but the steel frame stands strong. And in the back room, silence, cool air, no mold. You set to work. No one's helping, no instruction manual, just your own hands and time. You drag in bricks from a collapsed garden wall 2 blocks over, stack them near the entrance, patch the holes in the sidewalls using sheet metal from a wrecked truck. You hammer with a stone, anchor joints with shoelaces and melted plastic. Primitive? Yes, but sturdy. You scavenge tarps for roofing, old furniture for shelves. A child's plastic pool becomes a water basin. A highway cone? Now it funnels rain into your collector. You find rope, wire, even a bent aluminum beam that becomes a brace above the entryway. Your hands blister, fingernails crack. You wrap them in cloth and keep going. Each night, you fall asleep in your capsule, but dream of the space you're shaping. You picture it, a fire in the center, a wall for tools, hooks for drying meat, a hatch in the floor to hide supplies. It's ugly, but it's yours. And the next day, you move in. It smells of rust and hope. You light a small fire inside. It smokes at first, but you crack a vent. Problem solved. You hang your nap on the wall, lay your knife and crowbar on a crate, pull out the can of peaches you've been saving. You don't eat it yet, but you set it on the shelf where a future you will find it. Then you sit on a chair that doesn't quite stand straight and listen. The wind outside has changed. The space feels different, safer. You survived long enough to build something, not much, but something. Tomorrow, you'll fortify it, paint a symbol on the door, start gathering supplies, not just hoarding scraps. And someday, maybe, you'll welcome someone here. Maybe not, but the thought alone is enough.
You almost forgot what rain sounds like. It begins at night, soft as breath, like the sky is clearing its throat gently. Just a single drop, then another. You sit up in the dark, blanket slipping from your shoulders, ears straining. Was that real? Then, on the sheet of tin you propped outside the door, ping! You smile before your mind even understands why. You scramble outside barefoot, feet cold against the concrete. The air smells sharp, like metal, like dust, like something sacred finally coming home. You tip your head back. A drop lands on your lip. Cold, pure. You whisper, "Thank you," to no one in particular. You run for your collector. The plastic sheet is trembling under the weight of the first real rain in over a month. The funnel's working. The tin basin is filling, slow and steady. You place every jar, every can, every bottle you own beneath the runoff, even your metal cup. Then you just sit, in the doorway, watching. There's no thunder, no wind, just the long, slow sigh of the sky letting go. You open your mouth and catch a drop. It tastes like nothing and everything. Sky, memory, mercy. In the silence of the broken city, the rain becomes music, a kind you didn't know you missed until it came back. You curl up beside the open door, knees to chest, wrapped in your fire-warmed blanket, and you sleep. When you wake, the rain is still falling, lighter now, like the world exhaling. You check your jars. They're half full. More water than you've seen in weeks. Enough to drink, to store, to bathe your face in the morning. You rinse your hands. You wash the soot from your arms. You cry a little because it feels like being forgiven. Later, you sit by the fire with a jar in your lap, still sealed. You don't drink it yet. You just hold it. Because this is more than water. It's a reminder that the world still moves, that clouds still gather, and skies still remember how to weep. That no matter how broken things feel, sometimes the sky still answers back. It starts just after twilight, when the world melts into cool blue and quiet wind. You're sitting near your fire, slowly roasting what's left of yesterday's rabbit, when something shifts in the corner of your eye, a flicker. You freeze,
Hold your breath. Turn your head slowly, like even your eyes might scare it away. There, on the ridge, where the buildings end and the hills begin, a light. Small, faint, but not natural, not star, not fire, not reflection. It pulses. Once, twice, then stops. You stand without meaning to. The rabbit hisses in the fire, forgotten. You step to the edge of your rooftop, scan the horizon. Nothing moves, but the light flickers again, and this time it lingers longer. A soft, steady pulse. Your mind runs through possibilities. A fire alarm? No, there's no electricity. A flare? Too consistent. Another person? You swallow. You haven't seen another human in... You've stopped counting. The radio voice is one thing, but this is presence. This is real. You mark the direction on your map. Roughly northeast, past the bus depot, over the collapsed overpass, toward the hills. The next pulse is brighter. Closer? No, just clearer. You debate going tonight, but you know better. Night travel is dangerous. The world doesn't forgive missteps anymore. So you stay. Pace. Check your supplies. Knife, sharpened. Crowbar, wrapped in cloth. 1 jar of rainwater, a can of beans, your map, and a pencil, just in case this place changes again. You try to sleep, but your thoughts flicker like that strange light, bright, sharp, relentless. What if it's a trap? What if it's help? What if it's someone like you, sitting somewhere on another rooftop, watching your fire, wondering the same thing? You roll onto your side, clutch the radio. It's silent tonight. The loop stopped earlier. Batteries, maybe, or something else. You miss its hum, the whisper of artificial presence. Instead, you dream of light. Not the kind that warms, but the kind that calls. And in that dream, you climb the hill, and something, someone, waits.
Morning breaks quietly. The sky painted in soft grays and pale gold. The city doesn't stir. It never does. You open your eyes slowly. There's no alarm, no work to rush to, no coffee to brew. But still, you rise. Your hands move automatically now. Fold the blanket, check the fire, drink a slow sip of water. You sharpen your knife, even though there's nothing to fight. You step outside your shelter. Stretch. Breathe deep. The air smells clean, damp from last night's rain. The wind carries distant sounds, nothing threatening, just the groan of metal and the hush of leaves. You look out toward the hills. The light from last night is gone. No signal, no answer, no clue. But something inside you has changed. You survived. You built. You adapted. You listened. You waited. And now you wonder what comes next. because survival is no longer enough. You walk the perimeter of your small world, the rain collectors, the rope lines, the stack of jars, your crooked little wall. Everything speaks of effort, of hours and days and will. You kneel beside the fire pit, ashes cold but comforting. You poke gently at them, they crumble like memory. You whisper to yourself, "Okay, what now?" No one answers, but the question sits with you. Not heavy, just honest. You glance at the map, your world in ink and smudges, and that circle you drew, where the strange light had been. A new place, a maybe, a choice. You pack your bags slower today, not with panic, not with urgency, with intention, because maybe it's time to go. To find out if the voice on the radio was live or just an echo. To follow the light over the hill, even if it was just hope. To see what's left outside this pocket of safety you carved for yourself. But not yet. Not today. Today you breathe. You sit. You exist. And you let yourself feel it. The fact that you made it. That you've been cold, hungry, terrified. And still, you're here. Still whole. Still trying. Still you. You lean back against the wall you built with your own hands. Let the sun hit your face. And smile. Not big, not loud, but real. Because survival wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. The fire has long burned down. Its warmth lingers, gentle against your skin. The wind outside your shelter whispers softly through leaves, a lullaby written by the earth itself. You breathe slowly, deeper than usual. Each inhale holds the memory of ash, pine, and cold metal. Each exhale lets go of fear, of past days, of silence. The radio rests beside you. Its hum is steady now, like a heartbeat not quite yours. Not loud, not sharp, just present. You imagine the signal reaching further tonight, through treetops, over hills, across the dead bones of cities. Maybe it finds someone, maybe not. But it goes. It tries. You pull the blanket over your shoulders, its weight like the memory of someone's hug. Soft, familiar, even if imagined. Your eyes grow heavier with each blink. Not just tiredness, peace. Hard won, earned. And somewhere out there, in the vastness of what remains, a radio might be clicking back. Or it might not. But here, in this moment, you are warm, you are still, you are alive. And for now, that is enough.